All right.
go on all night hating on Kevin Hart. I have perfected it. But at some point, you've got to look yourself in the mirror and say, do I really want to have beef with the rabbit Snowball from the Secret Life of Pets 2? Yes, I do, Kevin. Yes, I do. Motherfucker wouldn't even play a black rabbit. Can you imagine the coonery? I'm out. Good night, Inglewood. Thank y'all so much. Wait, Cat, wait. Hold on.
I'm out. Good night, Inglewood. Thank y'all so much.
Me and this man have been at odds for years on years. You coming out here, quite the fucking surprise. I can sit and I can watch and I can laugh because I'm a fucking fan first. Okay? I'm a fan first. Cat, we have an opportunity in real time. This is live television to put our fucking beef behind us. I am offering you
We have an
an
opportunity
olive branch
in real.
of peace.
I am offering
I
you
want to be a brother.
an
I want to be a
olive
friend.
branch of
Cat,
peace.
I
I
want to
want to
move
be a
on.
brother.
Can we
I want to
move
be a
on,
friend.
man?
Cat,
Can we move
I
on?
want to. Can we move on, man?
Cat
Can we?
Williams, one time, ladies and gentlemen. Cat fucking Williams.
Cat Williams.
But yeah, that was Kevin Hart and Katt Williams publicly squashing their beef. I gotta give a tip of the cap to these guys, and even if it's performative, I think it's good to see two men who I think had a public spat, whether it stemmed from competition or envy or jealousy or whatever it may be, to grow up and publicly squash it. I think it's a big um, deal for people to see, black men in general, and definitely black men in the comedy space to show that okay, the greats can squash it. If other people have beefs and little, envies and squabbles, and oh, I don't fuck with this comedian because of this and that, that it's possible to move beyond it. I would love to see Ali Sadiq and Cat Williams squash their shit too, because I fuck with both of them. And Kevin Hart and Cat Williams are obviously two of the greatest comedians of all time, two of the greatest comedians that we grew up with, in our lifetime. So I just want to give them some props for this display.
Yeah, I think when we talk about when you said built off of uh, competition, I think that's exactly how this started or where this came from. For a long time, there is a thing where there can only be one, you know. And Cat had a stranglehold on everything, everybody, the crossover appeal that he had, um, stemming from the work ethic that he had, only to be met by somebody as charismatic, as great in storytelling, as driven, as ambitious, nigga, about as tall. You know what I'm saying? Like everything, like he is absolutely your opposition. Like there is nothing that can make y'all niggas a tandem. It can only be one. And the growth of Kevin Hart was very much prominent. Uh, and it was during a very, I would say it was a down time of Cat, but Cat had became at that point the storyteller of a generation as he was trying or about to give us truths. And then he got hit with a whole bunch of like things that chinked his armor a bit to where he couldn't be that journalist. You know what I'm saying? Until he came back to the club Shay Shay. But even then, it wasn't necessarily journalistic. What he was coming from, it was documentarian. You know what I mean? Like even then, like it still wasn't. I'm presenting the news of the world to you. Eddie Griffin had that at one point in time. Eddie Griffin is brilliant and educating you during his storytelling. But he get into his rants and raves, and he dips his toe into the wrong waters, and it kind of alienate you from backing something like that, to where, again, when we say can only be one. Dave Chappelle and Eddie Griffin, you put them next to each other, dumb niggas are very similar to me. And again, for Dave to be put on a pedestal as like one of the best premier storytellers of our time right now in comedy, nigga, I've watched Eddie Griffin tell me that Einstein was an idiot. You know what I'm saying? I've watched him break down like, nigga, can nothing come at the speed of light without it coming through darkness? Like, so I've heard him break down like shit. I'm like, yo, this nigga really is. Now I have to do my due diligence and be like, I can't take the comedian's word at what it is, but at the same time, he's invoking thought. To my point, and we had a conversation last week with Jon Stewart, about Jon Stewart coming off of a clip that we had with
Mm-hmm.
Zach Galifianakis, and the comedy has to come first. And with Kevin and Kat, at the detriment of themselves, they always try to make comedy come first.
Well,
Sometimes sometimes Kevin need to take a beat because he's doing too much, and he needs to take away from the comedic roles with the Rock and everything, and let me see a little bit of depth from you. And then sometimes Cat needs to take away from everything. Doesn't need to be a joke when you're telling your truth. Sometimes we need to know what the truth is, because a lot of the stuff that you can tell in jokes can have your spin on it, can have the realness of it. So we need to have the authenticity of that when we get that from you. So with that, the comedy does come first with me, but I do think that it comes at a detriment to some people who are trying to elevate to get to or maintain that status of crossover mainstream. Like, man, Kat and Kevin were the best.
yeah, yeah.
Are
Honestly, to this day, they're still doing specials and they're still incredible. Obviously, they're not as sharp as their prime. I think every comedian has a prime, and then it kind of like, all right, they're beyond the prime, but they're still really, really good. And I think that they're really, really good now. Um, I
you
hope that
think
this, huh?
you think you think
I
you think
haven't
so?
listened. I like the past two Cat specials have been good. The past two Kevin Hart specials have been mid to me.
Right,
That the ones on Netflix. So that's my
right.
opinion. I haven't seen a brilliant special since there was one Dave Chappelle special out of all of the I think like five or four that was really good. That was like really brilliant. And then I've seen some brilliant stuff with Ali Sadiq. Those are the two that I've seen recently that I'm like, oh, that's different. That's special. That's brilliant of today, Now I'm sure there's plenty of other comedians that people know of that they've seen that have done crazy stuff. But I keep up with the comedy scene, I really do like keeping up with comedy because in this world you gotta laugh, man. You gotta laugh with all the stuff going on. So that's why I kind of like also. I get it. It's a roast. I get it. If make as many jokes as Kevin Hart as you want, make as many jokes as the people who are, the roast masters. But when it goes to political spaces, I think that it can get a little bit it could get a little bit like God, you bring me into the whole, Zionist thing. You're bringing me into the whole George Floyd thing again. I'm not saying shut up and dribble to these comedians. Do your art form the way you want to do it. But at this roast, when you have all this varying comedians of different flavors, I would hope that we didn't have to go and split the room down and say, well, you're a Zionist and you support this and you support that, and hey, George Floyd's in hell.
Yes,
Those are things I
yes.
didn't
No, no,
like.
no.
I didn't,
No, no, outside of the George Floyd stuff, please, because I cut you off. When Trevor Noah's at his name is at a fucking elite dinner, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we gotta know where you really lie at. We gotta know where you really,
but is
you
this the
know.
place to do it? I mean, maybe it is. I don't know.
No, no, no. I mean, you call comedians to task win though. Like and I'm not saying and we don't want to get into because anti-Semitism, of course, just like we're talking about a call to action against black people against Asian
against
Americans, against
racism,
Latinos.
yeah, altogether, any discrimination, any prejudice. Yeah, it's
So when
bad.
we but when we are talking about now, but now there is a difference between that and a difference between like, oh, you're a Zionist, right? And when you ask a person who they support or who they back or where they checks come from or who pushing you where or who, that's very much um a realistic conversation to have. Now you ask like in a roast, this is absolutely one of the best times to do so. Like
Okay.
and to my point and to
I mean, maybe you're
we
right. You could be right. I mean, I
well,
was like, because where's the thing? I reason why I'm saying this is not just because I don't want to hear Zionist jokes or I don't want to hear George Floyd's jokes. George Floyd, I think, is lowbrow. I think that you
yeah,
can keep that out.
George Floyd,
But
we
when it
not even
comes to the whole Zionist and just blanketly putting somebody in a box of what they say they are and trying to tell everybody who you are, I do think that people are trying to get off their political takes here, and the division in this country has seeped into everything, has seeped into sports, has seeped into comedy, has seeped into everything. And I'm like, yo, at some point we just need to just laugh. I just want to just laugh and just have a good night of laughter and not have to have a fight on okay, calling people out. Just one night. Um, but we just talked about political commentary in our previous episodes, which I really love too. So I'm not saying that comedy is not
right.
um it's not a place to do that as an avenue to do that. But this roast, when you add in Shane Gillis and Tony Hinchcliffe, and they're going at Chelsea Handler live on stage and saying she's a Zionist and saying she has to come on and defend herself on the stage, I think it takes away from Kevin Hart's roast. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, that's what I'm trying to get to. And
Well,
then
we
when you're
talk,
coming out here calling out George Floyd's death and saying he's going to hell, I think it's lowbrow. And I think they're just doing it to feed a base. They're like, oh guys, you saw what I said to Chelsea Handler. Oh my God, you saw what I said about black people. I think it's so I just can't fuck with it. I don't know.
well, no, I mean, to your
Maybe I'm
point,
just too
yes,
woke or something. I don't know.
I mean, it's not even that. I mean, I don't, I think, listen, man, you want to say take something takes away from a roast. Try on Bob Saget having a roast and everybody's talking about how he fucks young girls. Right? Like that is the
Okay.
legacy of Bob Saget.
Damn. But that's his
That,
roast. Like if that's what I'm like, I have no problem with go at Kevin.
but
Like don't make it a political fight on
but
stage. That's all I'm trying to say.
no, no,
And don't
I
try to
get
just be edgy by just saying how you could talk about black people and almost say the N
no,
word and all this shit. Like it's not really
not even
funny.
not even that though. But what I'm saying is to not even a political thing. Like if during like if nobody knew about Bob Saget, if nobody knew about Bob Saget, I'm at the roaster call, and even though I may have worked with him, I may have got money with him, whatever the case may be. This is my opportunity to let people know, like a Donald Trump roast, Arnold Schwarzenegger roast.
But you see
I
the
think
difference between what
roast.
you're saying and what I'm saying? Like there you're
No,
you're calling out the person who's being roasted. That's what you're here for. 100%.
but you also do get at the people who's there too. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like
100%.
you
But
also
it's
get at
okay. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just gonna. I just think that my perspective is it became a little bit about let me play to a base. Let me play to a liberal base. Let me play to a conservative base rather than, hey, let's just be here and be a part of the roast and say these jokes. It's like I gotta have that edgy joke that gets that George flows. I gotta have that edgy joke that talks about Chelsea Handler supporting bombing kids, and then she has to come out there and say there's a difference between being Jewish and being a Zionist. Like it becomes a little bit more political than it needs to be, in my opinion. But maybe
well,
but it seemed like a
I
good
will
night all in all. I'm
I would I would
more
I would like I would like to hear that, but in this state, in this state, unfortunately, with comedy, this is the only avenue that you can get your shit off. And even though somebody you have a problem with it, it's not something that's leading mainstream news as something that's a divisive thing.
Okay,
We may see some stuff like that online. We may see
that's fair.
stuff like that. But as of right now, this does bring into and the zeitgeist of people. Like you said, the whole the Shane Gillis. Shane Gillis, he toes the line with me. I never know where he at with his comedy. You know what I'm saying? But he's different from this other white boy that you're telling me I just go all the way with it. You see what I'm saying? So it's I don't necessarily people are also playing to a base, but also like, oh, this is me being able to be me completely unfiltered because usually I gotta have some reins on me. Like I don't know who this Chud dude is, right? I've been seeing on Twitter. It's this guy, some Chud dude from Tennessee, and
Yo,
he
he went
he goes
viral,
and
viral.
he's like on click or kick or whatever that joint, that controversial joint is, right? He walk around and he says the most nasty he maced the dude, no lie, a black dude. He maced the
For sure.
black dude. He maced the black dude and called a whole bunch of other black people the N word. It got around to the bar that he was trying to get in, the white bar, whatever he's trying to get into, and the security guard was like, no, we're not about to let that in here. Like we're not about to support that. We're not about to let. So to your point, it's guys that legitimately are, like you said, are doing it to feed a base, but it's just a base that they necessarily. I don't even they believe it. They believe it. And
You made
because
it this far, you are a real one. Thank you. So please like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more daily content from your boys from Everything Is.